Okay, welcome to this time lapse. In this time lapse, I'm working from dark to light, as you can see, and I'm working on a painting of a young girl, actually my daughter, when she was like 15-ish years old. It was a beautiful summer evening in Karmøy, Norway. It's where the Vikings used to come from, or one of the places. And As you can see, the light are hitting her quite hard from the side because it's a low sun. So I get a lot of contrasts to build on. As you can see, I like to build from dark to light. And what I use in the background, you see that wash, is wash over gesso with rå umber. And I usually use, for this purpose, I used rå umber from Winsor Newton. I basically only paint with old Holland paint, and that is because they give the best sculptural type of feel to it. And as you can see, I work thick with the colors in the background, in the light areas, and I try to keep the shadows down to also create a relief type of experience or type of feel to it. You could say I'm building a relief on a two-dimensional surface. I usually talk a lot about Rembrandt because he was the master of this in on every level. He used that very actively, and the more you build like that, the more shape you get, the more alive the surface comes. I see there's a lot of people who are painting who doesn't really, it's hard to say it, but they don't really understand what paint is about. Of course you can choose to paint a very flat surface, but if you want the painting to come alive, you have to also give it a physical presence. You have to give the paint a physical presence in the painting, and the way to do that is to build thick in the light areas and thinner in the darker areas, and to just keep on molding it again and again and again and again and again until it's almost like the old reliefs. You see them from Rome, you see them in Egypt, you see them from classical times, you see them in churches. These reliefs where they have carved out basically sculptures from a two-dimensional rock or something like that, or build it with clay, or maybe even cast it in bronze or something like that. So when I paint, I think like sculpturist, and yeah. See here, I do a wash of 70% turpentine and 30% linseed oil. And in my glazes I usually use French ultramarine, and I use kraplak to give it some tone between layers. It also helped me to see the different textures, different brushwork between layers, because it can sometimes become a little bit flat when you work on it for a long time. And if you put on a glaze, you can actually see the brushwork. Also, I don't use much oil when I paint, so the medium I put on the glaze, it kind of gets into the colors as I paint, and it makes it dry faster, and gives me different types of possibilities. As you can see, I just add, subtract, add, subtract, changing things. I also keep the sketches very loose so that I have to correct a lot. I think it's very important to do that. In these small paintings it can sometimes become a problem, but usually, well, it can become a problem because if you put on too much paint in the face and there's too much texture, and I'm gonna put in some new details, sometimes it becomes difficult to because I have to fight with the textures underneath. I also did one time, I just scraped away a lot of paint in a different painting, and then started to strategically scrape away with a knife actually some of the paint in those areas to get it more under control. Yeah. Now this is a long. This time lapse is actually a time lapse of a very long 6.5 hour video or painting lesson, and you can find a link to that painting lesson in description. Is on my second channel, so you can actually go and watch the whole process. There you also will find hyperlinks in description. Since it is that long, it's like 6.5 hours, it's also important for me to put in hyperlinks so you can actually jump around in the different segments. And there are segments where I glaze and where I kind of do layer upon layer, so you can actually see how I build this from, and hear me talk about it, actually how I actually build it. So go check it out. Every view is appreciated. As you can see, I'm getting closer and closer. I didn't reach the absolute likeness in it to the object I was painting. I came quite close. So, you know, I usually don't paint this small, but I'm gonna start doing a lot of these smaller paintings because it's kind of, you reach some different type of flow, different type of piece when you do, and I will recommend trying it. But you have to have a lot of patience because it's so easy to, I think I ruined that face 10 times. I was finished and then bang, I fucked it up and I went back in it and I went back and forth, and it really is a challenge. But for every time I do a small painting like that, I become a little bit better at it, and that's a good thing. You know, you actually need a lot of stamina to paint like this. You need to have that inner peace. You have to find that stoic calm, as they call it. Actually, I've been listening a lot to the Stoics, the old Greeks and Romans, the Stoics lately, and I find that that's the way to go. You just remove as many distractions as you can, and you start doing real painting. Go deep into it. That is when you get a deep flow, and that is when it becomes you. Like I usually say, painting is not what I do, it's what I am, become. So, and that is where you want to go if you're going to do it for the rest of your life. Here I'm trying to put in a signing. It's always a problem because I'm a little bit dyslexic. So here you can see some of the textures and some of the brushwork I used in this. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you check out my Patreon and maybe sign up for $1 or $5. Give it a thumbs up. You see some of the details. It's very orange on the... It's not that orange in reality, but yeah. This is also a Patreon giveaway painting, so go check it out. Okay, here you can see the painting. Okay, thanks you for watching this video, and I hope you enjoyed it. Let me say again, remember the notification bell, give it a thumbs up, leave a comment, share it on social media with your artsy friends, and keep watching. Hopefully I will be able to rebuild my channel. Okay, until next time, see you in the next video.